Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego with the beautiful Karina, my lovely wife from Venezuela. Now, that doesn't rhyme, okay? Those words, it doesn't rhyme. Now, in the past, I used to say, "This is Karina, my beautiful Prometida." Now, that was the words kind of were rhyming with each other. But now I say, "Karina, my beautiful wife from Venezuela." But I can't make it rhyme, but that's okay. We went through the K1 visa process just like you guys are going through the K1 visa process or the green card application or the spousal visa. Some of you may be joining us for a B2 tourist visa. I don't know, but I know how to do a tourist visa also. But this is another surprise live stream. People, I mean, I'm getting so many questions. I just can't sit down and write them out on YouTube. So it's much easier if I just jump on the live stream and give you a answer right here. Okay. Now a lot of people are asking me, how much money do I have to make? What's the income requirements for a K1 visa for a green card? Well, for the K1 visa at the embassy, you got to be at 100% of the minimum income requirements. And for a family of two, that's $20,440. For a family of two, for the green card, you got to make at least $25,550. For a family of three, for the embassy interview, you got to make at least $25,820. For a family of three applying for a green card, this is 2024 now, you got to make $32,275. If you are a family of four coming to the United States, that means the sponsor, the beneficiary, and two kids. A family of four, for the 100% of the minimum income requirements at the embassy interview, you got to make $31,200. For a family of four, for a green card success, income is 125% plus of the minimum income requirements. You got to make $39,000 even. So there you go. That's family of two, family of three, family of four. If you want to know any more, let me know. And Tina has jumped on the live stream and she says, "Hi, it's been a while. Congratulations to the both of you." Well, Tina, thank you so much. Now, I did a live stream from Florida by myself, right? Karina was in Bogota, Colombia. I did the live stream here by myself. And then I went to Bogota, Colombia for a year, and I did the live stream with Karina in Bogota, Colombia. And then she got her K1 visa. She went to her security visa interview on November 16th, 2023 in Bogota, Colombia. And once she did that, and then once she got her 221G cleared up, which was an extra police certificate from Interpol, we flew from Bogota to Miami and we got married on the beach. And here she is, beautiful Karina from Venezuela. And Pete B jumps on the live stream. "Hi, Diego. Life is good." Now, Pete, we're glad to hear that. Now, Pete, if I remember, you live in Minnesota, right, where penguins hang out in your back garden. So we got squirrels. But Pete, he's got penguins in his backyard. That's how cold it is in Minnesota. And he married his beautiful Prometida from the Philippines. And we helped guide him through this K1 visa process from the very beginning. Kellon Adams. Good afternoon, Diego. Good afternoon, Kellon. I get my appointment today for my K1 on the 12th of March. Congratulations. But in my email, but I didn't get an email yet telling me about the medical when I have to go and do that. You got to do it. Kellon, you got to go schedule a medical exam. You got to do it. Okay? You got to find the civil surgeon. What country are you guys in? Kellon, what country is your beneficiary in? You got to find a civil surgeon that's authorized by the State Department to conduct visa medical exams for K1s. You got to do it. Immigration is not going to do it. You got to do it. So Guyana. Okay, so you're in Guyana, beautiful Guyana. Okay, so you're right there in South America, right? You're in South America. You got to find a civil surgeon authorized by the State Department. What I would do is send an email to the embassy and ask them, the U.S. Embassy in Guyana, and say, "Hey guys, what civil surgeon can I use to get my medical exam?" And go get it done. If your K1 visa interview is on the 12th of March, you need to go get your medical exam done, like this week. Well, this week's over, right? Today's Friday. Today's Friday, February 16th, 2024. So next week, go get your medical exam done. Wandering Terrier. Hi, everybody from everyone. Hi, everyone. Hope everyone is having a great day. Now, Wandering Terrier, if I remember, you are in the United Kingdom. You're in England, right? You live in England. And I'm going to lay odds on that it's raining today. But it is raining here in Florida, too. But, I went to England on vacation in 1996, had a great vacation, but it rained every day. I went to England for a month in 1996. I said, okay, I'll go in July. July's summer, right? You would think. So I went there in summertime, and it rained every day. So there you go. But I'm going to take Karina to England when she gets her American citizenship. Wandering Terrier, I am thank you, and my case is on its way to London. Woohoo! Good job. Pete B, look at that. Pete B, look at that super chat. Pete B, you don't have to do that, my friend. But thank you, because you already made it through the process. You got married, you got your beautiful Filipino wife with you. Did you check out the Philam Club? Okay. Did you find a Philam Club in Minnesota for you guys to go hang out? Pete B, that's right. It's so cold in Minnesota, but my Filipina is keeping me warm. Okay, very good. Have a Mountain Dew on us. We will most definitely do that. In fact, I went to Walmart today and bought some Mountain Dew, but I've got some more super chat money from Pete B in Minnesota. We can go get some more, right? We can stock up. But congratulations to Pete B on getting married, bringing his fiance here from the Philippines and getting married in the United States of America. Tina, my fiance is now in France on a work visa. Okay, no problem. He got it and left after I filed for the fiance visa here. He's been there since November. What do we have to let immigration know about knowing when? Well, Tina, here's the deal. What country did you put on the I-129F where you said you wanted to have consular processing for your beneficiary? What country? Now he's in France. Where was he before France? What country? But what you need to do is if you want to change his visa interview from whatever country it was before to France, you have to come up with a great excuse. And when you get your welcome letter, you send an inquiry to the National Visa Center and say, hey, I need to change my consular interview from here to France, Paris, because my beneficiary has moved to France, and see what they say. The NVC controls that, not USCIS. USCIS does not control that. Who controls where your beneficiary has a visa interview? Two people. You, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor, and the National Visa Center, which is basically the State Department. The National Visa Center is the State Department. Okay, that's basically who they are. Hannah, I got approved the I-129F recently with NOA 2. That's good news. My question that I met my fiance only once. Until that moment, I did not meet him again. Do you suggest to meet my fiance before his K-1 visa interview? Yes, I do. Hannah, here is a question that Karina got. Karina was at the scary visa interview in Bogota, Colombia, after she waited for her NOA 2 letter, NVC welcome letter, and then the visa interview. The immigration officer, the consular officer, asked Karina, how many times have I been to Colombia to see her? How many times did I fly to Colombia to visit with beautiful Karina from Venezuela? And Karina said, well, he made 4 trips to see me. He stayed with me 5 months, 3 months, 11 months, and he's here right now, sick as a dog in our apartment in Bogota. And the consular officer went in the computer and he was writing this information. I made 4 trips to Colombia, actually 5. I was currently in Colombia, but I was sick because I was sick with mountain sickness. I got sick as a dog in Bogota. Every 3 or 4 months, I was sick because of the altitude. So it is very important, Hannah, that you make another trip to go see your beneficiary. You got to do it. It costs money. It's not cheap. It costs money, but you got to do it, okay? Because you might get the question, how many times have you seen your beneficiary? And if you say 1 time, for 2 weeks on vacation, the immigration officer may not like that. Okay, he may or may not like that. It depends on the immigration officer. But Karina, I lived in Colombia for about 2.5 years, back and forth, back and forth. American Airlines loved me to death. Oh, it's Diego, he's back again. Come on, but you've only bought a one-way ticket, Diego. You can't do that, American Airlines. You can't buy a one-way ticket. You've got to have a return ticket. No, I don't. I got a Colombian visa in my hand that says I can live in Colombia. So I don't need a return trip ticket. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that. Well, now you know. And I flew to Bogota, and immigration said, oh, it's Diego. He's back again. He's here again. Should we give him a hard time? No, we'll give him a break this time. So it's important that you make at least 2 trips to see your beneficiary. Hannah, you got it? Do you understand? Hannah, go buy a plane ticket. Tell your boss, unless you are the boss of your own company, tell your boss, I'm going on vacation. It's a family visit for my visa application. I'm going to go see my beneficiary, and you're going to spend, 2 weeks with him. You're going to keep the boarding passes. You're going to keep the hotel receipts. You're going to get pictures with him and his family, date stamp the pictures, when, where, and who's in the pictures. And that will be evidence for your K1 visa interview at the embassy, plus for your green card application. Okay. I mean, I'm not trying to tell you to buy plane tickets, but I'm trying to tell you, immigration, look at how many times you visited your beneficiary. They look at it. Okay, last one person, he made 1 trip to see his beneficiary. He was there for like 7 days. I think it was in Chile. He went to Chile, spent a week there, came back, filed his K1 visa, got approved, got the NOA2 letter, went to the visa interview, and the visa officer said, you've only spent a week with your beneficiary in the last 2 years? Seriously? And they gave her an RFE for further evidence of their relationship. But they didn't have any other trips, just the one for a week. But thankfully, they had printed up all of their WhatsApp chats. They had like a year's worth of WhatsApp chats in a binder. And that saved them, okay? But if he had made another trip to Chile to see his beneficiary and stayed there a month, took a month off, whatever, unpaid vacation, whatever, getting your beneficiary to the United States is not an easy process, guys. It's not easy, okay? And it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of patience. And it takes a lot of real relationships. You got to be in a real relationship with each other, okay? That's the secret. There's a lot of fraud out there. That's what you got to watch out for. Immigration's looking out for immigration fraud all the time. And that's most unfortunate because it gives everybody here a hard time, like us, who are doing it the right way. I dated Karina for a year plus. And then I lived with her for 2.5 years, basically back and forth. So the immigration, they were just interrogating her in Bogota because she lived in Venezuela for so long, in Colombia. She's from Venezuela, but she lived in Colombia for 5.5 years. And the immigration apparently were trying to figure out why she did that. Well, I'm glad. I mean, if it was me, if I was Karina, I would have told the immigration officer, well, I didn't like living in a communist dictatorship with a commie government telling me, she couldn't even ride on the bus without getting molested, interrogated by these Maduro paramilitary thugs claiming that she owed them tax from her shopping spree in Caracas. So she got the heck out of Venezuela, along with all of her family, except for her mom and dad, who just can't leave Venezuela. They just can't. They got nowhere to go. But Karina was young, and she's young, and she was able to get out of Venezuela and start a new life in Colombia. She's degreed up. She's got a degree in tax accounting. She was the director of accounting for a big company in Caracas. She's smart. She knows computers like the back of her hand, guys. And she doesn't need a calculator to figure stuff out. She does it in her head. So make another trip. Tina, he is from Senegal, and I originally put Senegal as the country for the interview. Okay, Senegal. Well, when you get the welcome letter from the National Visa Center, Tina, say, thanks for the welcome letter. send them an inquiry and say, please, can you change my consular interview from Senegal to Paris, France, because my beneficiary now lives in France on a work visa. The National Visa Center will make the decision, yes or no. If they say no, okay, then your beneficiary needs to get on a plane and fly from Paris back to Senegal and go to his visa interview in Senegal. If they say yes, then he's good. He can stay in France and get his visa in France, in Paris, at the embassy in Paris, and fly from Paris to the United States. But, to be honest with you, the only time the MVC will really want to change a consular processing location is if you're from Iraq or from Syria or from Venezuela, something like that, from a country that's under from communist Cuba. If your country is under a dictatorship, then immigration is going to work with you. Okay. Can you see my Bogota t-shirt? I don't know if you can see it. There you go. What do you think? I bought this. Well, Karina bought it for me in in Plaza Bolivar in Bogota. We were walking around on a Saturday, and they had all these vendors setting up tables, and this was in October, I think, of 2023. And this vendor, she was a real nice lady. She was muy amable, very nice, and I liked her attitude. I told her, I'm just looking. Don't bother me. I'm just looking. So she stepped back like a good person and didn't bother me. And because she did that, because she stepped back and didn't bother me and didn't harass me into trying to buy something, I bought half the store. I told Karina, I said, pick whatever you want. This lady's nice. I said, we're going to stock up our house with Colombian souvenirs with this lady, because she wasn't harassing me when I was trying to look at stuff. Okay. So Karina's like, serious? I said, yeah. Karina was with her sister-in-law, Andrea, and Andrea's like, yeah, go on, buy, get this. So Karina bought me this shirt. What do you think? And it's got the hyphen on the A for Bogota. I see lots of people, they write Bogota without the hyphen. That's a big disrespect to the city of Bogota. So Tina, if he's from Senegal and he's now in France, the MVC will make the decision on whether to transfer the case to Paris, okay? Don't get mad if they don't do it. They say, well, you said Senegal, so we've set up everything in Senegal. If the MVC say no, then he's going to have to fly to Senegal. If they might say yes, if they do, then you're lucky, and then you're locked out, and then everything's good. All right? So don't panic. He'll get his K1 visa if you qualify for the benefit, but everything's got to work out. But if you are from Iraq, the embassy in Iraq, the U.S. embassy in Iraq isn't processing K1 visas. So our beautiful friends in Iraq are flying to Abu Dhabi. They're going to Ankara, Turkey. And I helped a young lady get out of Iran. Okay? We love the people of Iran. We love the Iranian people are fantastic. It's the government that really sucks there, okay? It's typical. Governments always mess up everything for everybody around the world, right? So this lady was from Iran, and she asked me, how do I get out of Iran and get my K1 visa? So I guided her from Iran to Turkey, and then from Turkey, she went to Los Angeles, okay? But the way I explained it to her was, the way I told her how to do it was make sure the Iranian government doesn't know you're working on a K1 visa to come to the United States. So when she was in Tehran airport, okay, the immigration officer said, what are you doing? Where are you going? I'm going on vacation to Turkey. I want to buy some T-shirts. I want to get some clothes for myself in Turkey. And he goes, okay, have a great vacation. She flew to Turkey in a hotel, and she got her K1 visa. All right. And then she asked me, can I fly back to Tehran and get my stuff and put it in my suitcase and bring it with me to the United States? I said, don't do that. As soon as you fly back to Tehran, Iran, the immigration officer in Iran is going to look at your passport, your Iranian passport. He's going to see your American K1 visa in there. he's going to probably tear that page out and throw it in the trash. Don't do that. Call your sponsor and say, hey, honey, I can't go back home and get my clothes. Diego told me not to go back home and get my clothes. Buy me some new clothes in LA. That's what she did. I saved her. If she'd have gone back to Tehran, the immigration officer would have looked at her passport and that would have been all over for her, because the Iranian government doesn't like Americans. The government, anyway, you know. So she's happy as a clam, living in the United States, married to her beautiful sponsor. Tina, USCIS mailed back to me the original certified copies of my divorce decree. That's correct. And marriage license with a letter saying it's a normal procedure. Does this mean they are working my petition? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. But it's unusual they mailed back the original certified copies of a divorce decree and a marriage license. So you're going through a IR1, or you're going through a CR1 or an IR1 visa. You're not going through a K1, right? If you have a marriage license, or did you send immigration a copy of your marriage license to your previous spouse plus the divorce decree for your previous spouse? Is that what you did? I don't know, but that means USCIS is working your case. Previous spouse, there you go. Okay, I'm good, right? I know how this thing works. So you sent the marriage certificate and the divorce decree from your previous spouse. Immigration looked at it, but you sent the original documents. Now you got to make sure, Tina, that those documents go with your beneficiary in France to the visa interview at the U.S. Embassy in Paris. You got to have those documents in the hands of your beneficiary. If you don't, the U.S. Embassy in Paris, France will put you in a 221G hold and say, I need these documents. I mean, I've seen people in Brazil. I've seen people in the Philippines. I've seen people in India, beautiful India. They go to their visa interview, and the spouse, the sponsor didn't provide the beneficiary with the divorce decree, original certified copies. And the immigration officer in the embassies, and it happened in Bogota, Colombia. Colombia, right here. Look at that. I love this. I love this hat. My landlord, our landlord in Bogota, Colombia, Senor Fernando, he bought me this hat as a souvenir because I was loyal to him and paid the rent on time for almost 3 years. He loved me. He was happy to have us in his apartment because he knew he was going to get paid his rent money. So he gave me this hat as a gift, and I could see he was very sad when Karina left Colombia. He was sad, but that's all right. Life goes on. Hannah, go meet your beneficiary again. Go see your fiance again. Tina, I sent the certified copy from the courthouse. They called those original documents and sent them back. Yeah. Never send original documents to immigration. Never send an original birth certificate. Never send anything that's original. You send certified copies. Okay? Immigration, luckily you got a nice person at USCIS. The person that handled your case was being very nice and sent it back to you. You might have got an ornery person who had a bad day who would have run it through the shredder. So you lucked out. Okay? But Tina, you got to get those documents into the hands of your beneficiary in Paris. Okay, send them DHL or FedEx or UPS. I don't know about Paris. I know DHL and FedEx work out of Paris, France, so it shouldn't be a problem. But you got to account for customs too. Okay, customs. So our friend Jennifer in Colombia, her sponsor sent her I-134 in the mail to her via DHL, and it got tied up in customs in Bogota, Colombia for 2 weeks. So she couldn't bring the I-134 to her visa interview in Bogota, at the embassy in Bogota. So she went into a 221G hold while she waited and waited for the Colombian customs people to clear her letter. They got to put the drug dogs on there, sniff the package. They probably opened it to see it wasn't anything in there that was, contraband. However, whatever they do. Hannah, I will plan to see him for only 1 week. I cannot. So you cannot take any more than a week off. Is it a problem? No, it's not a problem, but you need to make a second trip, even if it's only for a week. Okay? But I bet you can stretch that out to 10 days, Hannah. I bet you can stretch it out to 10 days. Say, hey, I need 3 more days and see what happens. But that'll be okay. That'll be okay. You'll have 2 trips and bring those boarding passes. Once you make that vacation and you get back home, make copies of your boarding passes and print your credit card receipt showing where you bought the plane tickets. Keep your receipts from dinner dates. You go out to eat with each other. Keep all those receipts. If you can use your credit card in Paris, I'm sure you can use an American credit card in Paris. Use your credit card so you got evidence that you were there. You used your credit card in Paris and went out to eat. Okay, and you went to McDonald's and you had 2 Big Macs, two big orders of fries, and an apple pie. It probably cost you $50 in Paris, France for 2 Big Macs and an apple pie. But you'll have evidence that you were in Paris. Immigration don't work off of word of mouth. They only work off of physical evidence. What's in your hand? What can they see? Okay. And I recommend you go back to France. You go to France and go see him, and go to the up in the Eiffel Tower. Go to the Louvre. Take a bus tour around Paris, whatever. Catch a train. Go down to Marseille for one night. Catch the bullet train from Paris to Marseille. Spend the night in Marseille. Go back to Paris, and keep all these receipts. And those trips. When I was in Bogota, Colombia with Karina, we went everywhere together. We went to Cucuta, we went to Cartagena, we went to Chahuachi, we were in Bucaramanga, we were everywhere. The only place I didn't get to go was right on the border with Ecuador. So I went with Karina to the border of Venezuela, and I was sticking my foot into Venezuelan territory. I'm looking at the Venezuelan paramilitaries. I'm like, come on, what you got? And I'm sticking my foot in Venezuelan territory. And they're just shrugging their shoulders, okay, whatever, But I wanted to go to Ecuador. But, we didn't get that opportunity. But we did everything else. We went to Santa Marta, close to Santa Marta, Playa Blanca, Bendita Beach. We hiked up the tallest waterfall in Colombia. It took like 4 hours. I hiked the tallest waterfall in Colombia with Karina, got soaking wet. And we made a video about it, if you can find it. And we went to Chahuachi. That was in Chahuachi, I kept all these receipts on all these trips and included it in the K1 visa package. So when immigration opened up our K1 visa package, they said, "Wow, they went to Cucuta, they went to Cartagena, Santa Marta, Bucaramanga, Chahuachi. We ate at probably half of every restaurant that's in existence in Bogota. We ate there. I put it on my credit card. There's evidence. I was eating at Viva La Pizza in Bogota with Karina. And then I included all those bank statements in my K1 visa package, and I highlighted it. Oh, I'm in Bogota. When I purchased the plane tickets from Bogota to Miami, I kept the plane tickets from Bogota to Miami for her green card application. When I submit Karina's green card application, the plane tickets, my name and her name and a cat, they're all going to be included in the green card application. Now, do you have any questions about how much money you got to make as a K1 beneficiary? What if you've never filed for a K1 visa before and you don't know how much money you got to make to qualify for the benefit? Do you want me to? I can tell you the answer right away for whatever the family size is, 100% or 125%. Now, if you make 125% of the minimum income for the green card, you're probably going to have to get a joint sponsor. Let's say you're a family of 2, you got to make $25,550 a year for a green card. I recommend you get a joint sponsor if you're right on the line. If you're right on the line, get a joint sponsor. If you make $5,000 or $6,000 above the minimum, then you don't have to. Just my opinion. Alexa Digital. Hi, Diego. Hi, Karina. How many days does it take to deliver the visa after the interview? How many days do you travel to the United States after the visa is issued? Well, you can travel to the United States on the very day you get the visa and your passport, if you want to. Okay, Karina, we stayed in Bogota, Colombia for about another week or so to spend Christmas and New Year's with the family. But you can travel right away once you get your K1 visa in the passport. How many days does it take to deliver the visa? In Colombia, it took, after we got the 221G cleared up, it took 2 days. So it was 2 days. I don't know what country, Alexa. You got to remind me what country your beneficiary is in. Where's your beneficiary at? In Colombia, it was 2 days. The longest I've seen it in Bogota is a week. I've seen it. It took like 6 days. It took us 2 days. Somebody else could be 4 days. It all depends. And Pete B, again, I want to throw out there, thank you, Pete B, for that super chat. You don't have to do that, but we appreciate it. And stay warm in Minnesota. But it's going to be springtime soon. And in springtime in Minnesota, it's still cold, right? I think you get like 5 days of summer in Minnesota. What is that? July 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And then you get ready for winter again. But you're braver than me, Pete B, living in Minnesota. I went to Minnesota one time, Minneapolis, St. Paul. I changed planes. I was in the Navy flying from somewhere to Los Angeles, I think, or San Diego. I changed planes in Minneapolis. And I spent 35 minutes, 40 minutes in Minnesota, and that was cold. But I believe in Minnesota, you got a big Coast Guard station there. In Minnesota, they do the icebreakers. You got the Coast Guard in Minnesota that they go out in these big ships and they break up all the ice in the ocean there to keep the traffic, to keep the shipping lanes open. If I remember, I'm not familiar too much with the Coast Guard, but I remember that they had that they break the ice up there. So okay, guys, keep throwing questions at me. Look, I got the Venezuelan flag right here. How do I do that? Okay. Woohoo! There it is. And I got the Stars and Stripes right here. Karina's friend, Isabel or Jasmine? Jasmine in Venezuela gave that flag to Karina as a present for her trip to the United States of America. Now I got 6 people watching and I got 1 like. So today is an easy day, I guess, for me on questions. Normally I get a bunch of questions, but it may be because it's the time and it's a Friday, and everybody on a Friday is driving home from work, getting ready for the weekend. But I'll do another live stream tomorrow at 6 p.m. for you guys, okay? Because tomorrow's everybody's off and they're happy. Hannah, during the K1 interview, what documents will they ask the consular officer to determine the relationship with my fiance is real and genuine? What is the evidence he must bring? Number 1, 2 letters of intent to get married. Original. One written and signed by you, one written and signed by your beneficiary. Photos of your next trip. When you go to Paris and go see your beneficiary, get lots of pictures together with family and friends. Lots and lots of pictures. That is evidence. Communication. How do you communicate with him in Paris? Do you chat via WhatsApp or through Yahoo Messenger? You got to print those chats. Print like 2 a week, 3 a week. So about 20 chats a month. Okay, so you got 20 chats a month over a year. What's that? What's that over a year period? That's a lot of chats, right? Bring those to the visa interview. Pictures together. Letters of intent to get married, signed and dated about a week or 2 before the visa interview. Photos, evidence, stuff like that. Evidence of your trip to Paris, your boarding tickets. You're going to make another trip, right? Yes, Diego, I'm going to make another trip. Okay. Keep all that evidence. Your bank statements, your credit card receipts from your visit to Paris. Let me see here. So, Alexa, how many days does it take to get the visa issued? What country are you in? Jeffrey Garcia, greetings from California. What's up, Jeffrey in California? Hope you all is well. How is Karina like in the USA? ¿Te gusta Estados Unidos? Sí. Karina loves it here in Florida. That's because it's February. Wait till July gets here, or August, and it's 110 degrees outside, and the humidity is 150%. Okay? And ask her the question then, okay? How do you like Florida? Right? She's waiting. She's waiting. She said, I'm waiting. Youssef Hanin. Hello, Youssef. What's going on? From Morocco. I just got my case number. Woo-hoo! Good job. Very good. Youssef. Everybody give a high five to Youssef for he's got his case number. Hannah. We had before Western Union transfers many times between each other. Is it good evidence? Western Union is good. Western Union receipts show proof of financial support. I sent, when I was in Florida, I keep trying to get my Bogota shirt. Bogota! Salute Bogota! When I was in Florida for a year, Karina was in Colombia, every month I send her money in Western Union. And then she'd get her receipt on her end, and I make a copy of my receipt on my end, and I put that all together in a binder under the financial documents. Okay? And we're going to use that for the green card application to show that I helped support Karina in Colombia. She didn't need the money. She was working full time, but it helped with immigration show that my commitment to her, to Karina, my commitment's eternal. Okay? She's going to have to put up with me for the rest of her life. See? She likes that idea. So good idea, Hannah. Western Union receipts are good evidence of the relationship. Jeffrey Garcia. Okay, Jeff. Youssef Hanin. Thank you, my man. No worries, Youssef. He said, Youssef says, we are a beautiful couple. Now, Karina's beautiful, not so much me. I'm an retired Navy guy. Ramon Gallardo, what's up, Ramon? And then Ramon Gallardo, hello, Senor y Senora Ross. Wasu. What is Wasu? What is that? Are you making up Spanish words, Ramon? Come on, man. Youssef, by you are the man, always the best. But you are the man, always the best. Youssef, I'm going to help you get your K1 visa. I'm going to get you back, get your family together, reunited in the United States of America. That's the goal, right? You guys are hanging out with us on the channel because you want to learn how to get a K1 visa as quick as possible without paying an immigration attorney. No, I'm not an immigration attorney. I don't give you any legal advice. I don't work for the government. I don't work for the U.S. government. I don't work for the State Department or USCIS. But I got 9 years of experience with this K1 visa process. Okay, I know it's a nightmare. I know it's a pain. It's a headache. And it's just not fun. So, Karina, we were in Villa de Leyva in Colombia, Central Colombia. I was just hanging out. We were walking around the square. And Karina said, well, you got a cooking channel. And then you made a channel about Colombia. Why don't you just make a channel about K1 visas? So I said, okay. That'll help people. So I deleted all the cooking videos I made, but I kept the videos about Colombia. I didn't delete those because that's memories for Karina and I in the future. Let's see. Ramon Gallardo, LOL. Youssef, it will be my pleasure to drink with a cup of wine or anything. All right, Youssef. We want you to get your visa done. Cash flow. Hey, Diego and Karina, nice to see you guys happy. We are great. We're great. Every day is fantastic. Every day is fantastic. For 2 years, we went through the K1 visa nightmare, just like you guys. But I knew that we would get to this point. Just got to be patient, right? Patience is the key to this process. And being qualified for the benefit. Remember, a K1 visa is a benefit. It's a benefit, guys. It's not a right. You don't have a right to a K1 visa. It's a benefit. How did this benefit come about? Well, during the Vietnam conflict, during the Vietnam veterans, They met these beautiful Vietnamese ladies, and they wanted to get married and bring them to America and start a life together. But the U.S. Congress was making it difficult and difficult and difficult for Vietnam veterans to get their promotees into the United States. And all these Vietnam veterans were in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, whatever, the Coast Guard, the Merchant Marine, whatever. Did I miss anybody? The Marine Corps. They wrote to their congressman and said, hey, this is during the 70s. Hey, what's the big deal? What's the problem with you guys in Congress? I want to marry this beautiful lady from Vietnam and get married and live in San Diego, but you won't let me do it. So they put so much political pressure on the Congress of the United States created the K-1 visa for Vietnam veterans. And then it carried on and carried on and here we are. Now it's for everybody, right? Let me see. Hannah, thanks, Diego, for the info. You're welcome. You are great. The date that the I-129F got approved, is it the same date that USCIS sent to the NVC? No, it's not, because it is written like that on the NOA2, if I'm not wrong. Now, when you look at Hannah, when you look at your NOA2 letter, there's lots of important information on there that people are really not sure about. Number one, there's no priority date for a K-1 visa. If you're looking on the NOA2 letter, you're looking, there's no priority date, right? It's blank. There's a priority date is issued to somebody, bringing somebody to the United States, like mom or dad or brother, sister, aunt, uncle, okay, tío, tía, abuela. That's when you get a priority date. On a K-1 visa, there's no priority date because there's an infinite number of K-1 visas. There's no maximum. There's a max. It's infinite. A priority date is given to somebody who is in line waiting for their K-1 to waiting for their family visa to get adjudicated. All right. Family visas, mom, dad, brother, sister, grandmother, grandma, those are family members. But a K-1 as a spousal makes it, it's going to be a future wife. So there's no priority date. Also on the NOA2 letter, there's a 4-month window of time. It says the visa commenced on this day and terminates on this day. It's 4 months. Don't panic if you see that. Calm down. If you send an inquiry to the National Visa Center and check in and say, hey, what's the status of my visa? What's going on, guys? Include in the email your beneficiary's case number, if you have it, passport number, date of birth, full name, receipt number from the NOA2 letter. That extends your NOA2 letter past 4 months. That keeps it in play. Immigration understand it's going to take longer than 4 months to get to the K-1 visa stage. Our NOA2 letter expired September of 2023, September 2nd, something like that. And I wasn't worried about it because I didn't get to schedule the visa interview till October of 2023. And she didn't get her visa interview till November of 2023. But because I was in constant contact with the NVC and with the embassy in Bogota, the NOA2 letter is extended automatically. Now, on the NOA2 letter is your beneficiary's alien number for life. That's her lifetime alien number, okay? So you look on the NOA2 letter, look under his or her name, you're going to see an A number, an alien number. That number is going to have to go on your I-134, the Declaration of Financial Support. That number is going to have to go on your adjustment of status paperwork, the 485. Okay? But, when the NVC get your K-1 visa package from USCIS, it's shipped out every 2 weeks from USCIS. Let's see here. Ramon Gallardo, Diego, the consular scary visa interview is on March 22nd. Okay, you got this. You did the medical exam it's in Rio de Janeiro, right? And cash flow, Europe, cash flow, Gulf of Tonkin, Vietnam. Yep. Vietnam veterans, we salute you because you guys and ladies, the nurses, especially in the Vietnam War, the nurses were brave taking care of those injured troops. It was the Vietnam veterans that got the K-1 visa created. They created it. Ramon Gallardo, Bogota, Colombia. You should get your visa within 2 to 3 or 4 days after the issue date. Once it's issued, a couple of days. And cash flow. Good Ramon, buenos suerte, good luck, is what he said. You're about to get by April. Yusef, can I start the DS-160, sir, before the interview? You have to. The DS-160 is the Department of State form. It is the beneficiary applying for the K-1 visa. So you pay the visa, you get the ready status, right? You send an email to the embassy in Bogota or whatever. You get your packet 3, packet 4 email with the directions on how to schedule the visa interview. You pay the visa fee, $265. Then you schedule the visa interview, the biometrics, and then you call your beneficiary up and say, "Hi, I scheduled your visa interview. I got your biometrics scheduled. Go get your medical exam done." That's how it works. But every embassy around the world have got their own little way of doing stuff. Yusef, Hanin, thank you for your help. No problem. We got it. Get it done, cash flow. Get it done. Get the visa. Get to the United States. Bud Garcia. Now, Bud is in Washington State, right? Don't you live in Washington State? And your beneficiary lives in Thailand, right? No, she lives north of Bangkok. Bud Garcia, good afternoon, Diego and Karina from Washington State. There you go. I have a question. Tengo una pregunta. Does the USCIS have a delay because I got my NOA2 letter on the 19th of October, 2023? I still have not got my welcome letter yet. October, November, December, January, February. You should have got something right now, Bud Garcia. You should have got something from the NVC by now. Send them an inquiry. Where's my welcome letter? Ask them. Keep bugging them. Say, hey, what's going on? Caleb Hertu will apply for asylum through the CBP One app. Affect the K. Will that affect the K-1 visa? Yeah. You can only have one visa at a time. You can't have an asylum visa and a K-1 visa. Which one you want? You can only have one. If you apply for the asylum visa, your K-1 visa goes away. If you apply for the K-1 visa, you can't apply for the asylum visa. All right? Through you're talking about CBP, the Customs and Border Patrol, Customs and Border Protection. You know, you got this app on your phone. President Biden's giving people all these free asylum approvals with no medical exam, no police check, no nothing. All right? No vaccinations. We don't know who the heck's in our country right now. We don't know who's here and what diseases they may have, if any. Now, that's just my opinion. I'm not trying to bash anybody. I mean, America is a free country. We welcome you here, but come legally. You know, there's people from Colombia claiming asylum in the United States. Seriously, I'm laughing at them. Colombia is just like Bogota, Colombia is just like living in New York, except they speak Spanish. They drive crazy. They got a subway. They got a good bus system. Well, New York does have a good subway. They're building a metro in Bogota. So when somebody from Colombia says, "Oh, I need asylum," seriously? Colombia is a beautiful country. I lived there for 2.5 years. Never had a problem. Never had an issue. The only problem I had with Bogota, Colombia was there was no Mountain Dew. There's no Mountain Dew in Colombia. Ramon Gallardo, there's no Mountain Dew in Bogota. No, zero. Karina's got like 5 brothers that live in Bogota. And they all went off on their motorcycles to different stores looking for Mountain Dew. For me. They went all over Bogota. They couldn't find it. There's no Mountain Dew in Colombia. Cash flow. We got our NOA2 December 22nd. Okay, good. So you're getting close to your NVC welcome letter. Yusef, I appreciate your help. Anytime, Yusef, if you need my help, I'm here for you with Karina and my Colombian hat and my Colombian t-shirt. Bud Garcia, yes, I do. And yes, she does. KJB, I always thought the priority date is when the application is received. There's no priority date on a K-1 visa NOA2 letter. Look on your NOA2 letter. Also, my fiance interview isn't until May, but NOA2 listed March as when it will expire. Your NOA2 letter doesn't expire as long as you maintain contact with the embassy or the NVC. Okay? Take a look on your NOA2 letter and tell me what your priority date is. Tell me what it is. KGB, what can I do? You send an email inquiry to the National Visa Center, and that will extend your NOA2 letter indefinitely. But you got to keep sending inquiries once a week. Check in, print the emails. All right, keep printing the emails, and then you're good. Let me see here. What can I do? Keep in touch with the National Visa Center. They will keep your NOA2 letter in active status. Bud Garcia, my packet is still with USCIS. That's crazy. And I'm lost on what's going on. I'm getting very frustrated. I would be too. With this, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to stay strong. Well, you need to contact USCIS and ask them why are they holding onto your USCIS approved K1 visa. Send them an email. Write them a letter. Send it certified mail. They have to sign for it. And ask them, why are you holding onto my K1 visa packet? Include a copy of your NOA2 letter in the letter. Okay? Worst case scenario is you could get your senator to get involved and have him help you. That's another thing you could do. You don't give up. But don't give up. Thailand is not a politically unstable country. There's nothing wrong. The people of Thailand, okay, they never threaten America. They just go about their business. Okay, it's not so the country's not a problem. So you got to get proactive and get in touch with the USCIS and ask them to get off their butts and process and send your package to the MVC. Caleb, mismo in Mexico, solo Coca-Cola. Okay, so the same in Mexico. There's no Mountain Dew in Mexico, Caleb. Only Coca-Cola. I could get Coca-Cola at Jumbo in Bogota. Jumbo, Éxito. What's the other tenders? ¿Cuál es nombre tiendas? Yeah. There's mucho. I could get Coca-Cola anywhere. Dollar City, Jumbo, Éxito, Macro Campo, Dollar City. Yeah, that one. I can't pronounce it. Let me see here. Bud Garcia, I understand it's a long time. Now you need to get on. You need to write immigration a letter, Bud. Send a letter to USCIS, certified mail, copy of your NOA1, NOA2 letter, and put in the letter copy to my U.S. Senator. Now, you don't have to send a copy of the letter to your U.S. Senator, but if you put copy to U.S. Senator in your letter, immigration will think you sent a copy to your senator. And they might get them motivated to get off their butts. Cash flow, like 3 months. Caleb, do you know where the medical exam is done in Mexico? In Juarez? In Ciudad Juarez? Yes. There's a civil surgeon in Ciudad Juarez and also in Mexico City. Bud Garcia, I just want to roll up in a ball and go in a cave. Don't do that. Bud, you're not a victim. You're a victor. You're strong. You can do this, man. You got to be proactive. Don't be rolling up into a ball going into a cave. Don't do that. Get on your computer, write a letter to USCIS Service Center and ask them, when are they going to mail your package to the MVC? And at the bottom of the letter, put very, very respectfully, Bud Garcia, and include a copy of your NOA1 letter and your NOA2 letter. And at the bottom of your letter, put copy to U.S. Senator. You live where? In Washington State? Who's your U.S. Senator? You got 2 U.S. Senators in Washington State. Who are they? Do you know who they are? Do you know their phone numbers? Give them a call. Get your U.S. Senator to give USCIS a call in California. So, hey, or wherever it is your package is at. Youssef, my fiance has already sent the I-134 to USCIS. I don't know if I'll need it in the interview. Okay, Youssef, the I-134 doesn't go to USCIS. The I-134 goes to the beneficiary for the visa interview. The I-134 is the Declaration of Financial Support. Declaration of Financial Support. It's what your sponsor fills out to tell the embassy staff that your sponsor makes enough money to support you at 100% plus of the minimum income requirements. So the I-134 does not go to USCIS. It goes to the beneficiary. The original I-134 gets signed by the sponsor, dated, filled out by the sponsor. Beneficiary doesn't sign it, doesn't touch it. And the beneficiary, Karina, had her I-134 in her maleta. Okay, she went to the visa interview in Bogota. The immigration officer put all the documents on this big table that was about this high up to his chest, or her chest, Feminina, her chest. And she said, okay, I-134, original, signed by your sponsor, perfect. Tax return, bank statements, okay, letter from the boss, pay stubs, excellent, perfect. The I-134 goes with the beneficiary to the visa interview. Francois Livingston from upstate New York. Francois, you're still in New York, right? I haven't got you out of there yet. We need to get you into like North Carolina or somewhere where you don't get your taxes so high. Happy Friday, Diego and Karina. What's up, Francois? Now you missed, I did a surprise live stream yesterday and you said you missed it. Well, now you're here. You're on board, right? You're here. KJB, do I still need to keep in touch to keep my NOA2 date active even after getting an interview date? No. Once you schedule the interview at the embassy or the consulate, you're done. You just got to wait for the date. You don't have to stay in touch. Not at all. You're done. Your NOA2 letter will expire on the date of your K1 visa interview. Okay? You're done. You're good. KJB, do you understand what I just said, my friend? Your question to me is, do I still need to keep in touch to the embassy, the MVC, to keep my NOA2 date active, even after getting an interview date? No, you don't. You're good. Yusef, thank you. You're welcome, Yusef. Come on, Francois. You're getting close to your NOA2 letter, Francois. Almost there. Now, Francois, she speaks like 3 languages. Okay? Now, I can speak English. I speak Australian. I can speak New Zealand. I can speak United Kingdom and Spanish. So that's 5 languages. I got you beat. I'm kidding. No, seriously. Francois can speak 3 languages. Antonio, what's up? Who will receive the case number, the petitioner or the beneficiary? The petitioner. The petitioner will get the case number. When I submitted Karina's K1 visa package to the Louisville, Texas, then it went to the service center in California, then it went to the MVC, then it went to the embassy in Bogota, Colombia. My email address was on all that paperwork. My email address was on all the paperwork. So who got the communication? I did. I knew exactly what was going on with Karina's K1 visa from A to Z because I used my email address as the point of contact. Francois, maybe someday soon. Okay. If you can get out of New York, Francois, you get a big pay raise. You know, I've got 2 people to leave New York State. 2 people. I got them out. I mean, I didn't help them move, but I convinced them to leave. One of them moved to Florida. My friend moved from Long Island to Naples, Florida, and he got a massive pay raise because now he doesn't get hit with the massive taxes of New York State. Okay. My other friend, I got him to leave Washington State. I mean, I got no problem with Washington State, but I got him to leave Washington State and move to Florida because Washington State implemented a tax on the sale of stocks. My friend likes to sell and buy stocks. So stocks, and he's a stockbroker, he's a day trader, and he lived in Washington State. And then they created this new law in Washington State that if you sell stock above a certain number, you get hammered on the stock sale. They don't have an income tax in Washington State, but he was going to get hammered on the stock sale of buying and selling stocks. So he said goodbye to Washington State and moved to Florida, moved to Miami. Francois, Get out of New York, Francois. Antonio, also Texas has no state taxes. Antonio, you're absolutely correct. Texas does not have a income tax that goes to the state. Only federal income tax, no state income tax. But Texas has got some of the highest property taxes in the United States of America. If you take a look at property taxes, if you buy a house in Texas, the houses are very inexpensive. You can buy a 2,000 square foot house for a great deal. I'm a real estate agent, guys. It's my job to know this stuff. You can buy a great house in Texas for a great deal. But then when it comes time to pay your property taxes, you get absolutely nailed and hammered and beat up like a redheaded stepchild. So I wouldn't live in Texas because the property taxes are absolutely insane. Let me see. Caleb, if my fiance has the COVID vaccine, can she get the test, the rest, once she gets to America? Sure. You don't need a COVID vaccine to leave your home country. If you're in Colombia, let's suppose you're in Colombia. You don't need a COVID test to enter the United States, but you do need a COVID test to get your green card. So you can leave Colombia without a COVID test. Nobody's going to bother you at the airport. You land in Miami. Nobody's going to ask you for your COVID vaccination, okay? The immigration in Colombia is not going to ask you for COVID, entering Colombia, leaving Colombia. They don't care. They're not going to ask you. But when you get to the United States of America and you apply for your green card, you must submit proof of vaccinations, including COVID. Who controls that? The President of the United States through the State Department, okay? President Biden said, you will have a COVID vaccination to get a green card. So the State Department says, okay, President, and that falls on you guys, okay? But, in November we have an election. We might have a different president. I don't know. Then the rules could change, and you don't need a COVID vaccination to get a green card. But it all rests with the White House, okay, and the State Department. So to answer the question, you don't need a COVID leave to leave the home country, but you do to get a green card. If you can get all your vaccinations done in your home country, it's so much cheaper, okay? Karina she called her mom in Venezuela, and her mom couldn't find her vaccination documents. Okay, no big deal. So that was back in June or July of 2023. We're planning ahead. Remember, we're planning ahead. So I called Karina. I'm in Florida, and I sent Karina $400, and I said, go get your vaccinations done. So in July, August, September, even in one in November, she got all of her vaccinations done. So now when I apply for her green card, she is 100% done with vaccinations. It would have cost me close to $1,500, maybe $2,000 to get vaccinations done here in Florida. But it only cost me $400 in Bogota. It's, for the same vaccinations. Let me see here. Caleb, so she doesn't have to get the vaccines for the K1. No. But you do have to get the vaccinations for the green card. The civil surgeon, when you go for your medical exam, is going to say, hey, you need this vaccination, this vaccination, this vaccination. You're missing this one. You're missing smallpox, whatever. And the civil surgeon will say, we can do them here in Bogota, or you can get them done in America. Bud Garcia, I can't find a number for the Senate for Washington State. Well, my cell phone's being charged up in the back right now, so I can't Google it for you. But you got 2 senators in Washington State. You got 2. They got phone numbers. They got email addresses. I recommend you call them. Google U.S. Senators, Washington State. Find out who they are. Find their numbers. Give them a call. Say, help me with my K1 visa application. All right? Get on the phone to them. You can find the phone number. In the state of Florida, we got 2 senators. We got Senator Marco Rubio, and we have Senator Rick Scott. All right? So we got 2 senators. Every state, if you're a beneficiary living in a foreign country, this is information for you. Every state, there are 50 states in America, 50. Hawaii is the 50th state. Delaware was the first state. 1 through 50. Every single state has 2 senators. Every single state has a number of representatives that represent the districts depending on how big the population is. California's got a big population. Well, it's getting smaller because people are leaving California because it sucks there with the price of taxes and everything. But California's got a lot of congressional representatives. And then Delaware has only got a small number of congressional representatives because it's a small state. Camille 1, hello Diego and Karina from Boston, Massachusetts. Very good, Camille 1. Jonathan Lindar, any tips on things the beneficiary can do while waiting for the green card so she can work? Like, no easy answers. Immigration is overwhelming as it is with the paperwork and processing for asylum seekers. There are so many asylum seekers filing to come to the United States from Colombia. Why are you seeking asylum from Colombia? Nothing wrong with Colombia. It's like living in America. You know, my opinion, you know, most of these asylum seekers are basically just trying to get a free green card. Just an opinion. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be right. I don't know. But you know, if I'm an immigration officer and a Colombian comes up to me and says, I want asylum, I'm going to say, where do you live? Well, I live in Bogota. Okay, Bogota. There's plenty of jobs in Bogota. Healthcare is cheap. Apartments are cheap. Food is cheap. Why do you need the asylum? Well, in reality, I just want to live in America. Okay, there you go. So what tips on the beneficiary can do while waiting for the green card? Well, show her around the neighborhood. Teach your beneficiary, this is Walmart, this is Publix, this is Winn-Dixie, this is where the CVS is at, this is the pharmacy, this is the mall, right here. Take her for a trip around the mall. This is where the DMV is when you go to get your driver's license, the Department of Motor Vehicles. What you're going to do, Jonathan, for your beneficiary is you're going to build a life for her in America, in your town, in your city. Teach her the city. Make some friends who are from her country. You know, there's Venezuelans that live here around here that came to America legally. They didn't sneak in across the border. They came here legally. Okay. Karina made some friends from Venezuela here. They're good people. Very good. One lady's lived here 30-something years. She has a master's degree, very intelligent, speaks English and Spanish fluently. She was our translator on our wedding. Very nice lady. Make friends. See if you can find friends. You know, if you're a Filipina coming to America, ask your sponsor to find some Philam clubs. You know, there's Philam clubs all over. There's a Philam club in Fort Walton Beach, in Okaloosa County. You know, Karina's Venezuelan, so you know, but they make some good lumpia, I tell you. Okay, guys, I've been talking for an hour. Karina's getting hungry, and I'm thirsty. I got some Mountain Dew in the fridge now. I can stock up on Mountain Dew. Pete B, thanks for that super chat. We appreciate you. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Oh, Caleb, look at that. There's a super chat from Caleb. Caleb, question. Do you know if the embassy in Juarez schedules the interview? Yes, they do. And how to find the wait time for getting an interview? It's 2 to 3 months. But the consulate in Juarez, Ciudad Juarez in Mexico, they schedule the visa interviews for K1s, said Caleb. Hang in there, okay? Hang in there. You can do this. It's just a patience waiting game. I understand it's difficult. You want to get reunited with your family and get married and do everything. You want to do all that. And I know that. It's not an easy process, guys. We were separated for a year, but we spent a lot of time together when we were together. Karina couldn't stand it being separated from me. She's like, man, she'd send me a message. It's been 10 months. And I'm like, yeah, I would have figured it would be done by now. But it is what it is. Jason Holmes. Hi, Mr. Diego. This is Jason from South Louisville. Excuse me, Louisville, Kentucky. I am on Social Security disability. Now I bring home $3,200 a month. Do I make enough to sponsor for my Filipino fiance? Yes, you do. Absolutely. Your minimum income is to sponsor your Filipina for the green card is $25,550. So what's $3,200 a month? Karina probably knows already. What's that? That's $38,400 a year. You're good to go. Just make sure you have all the evidence of your income. Okay, so if you're on disability, you probably don't file tax. So you probably don't file a federal tax return. I don't know. You may not. I don't know if it's taxable, but you get your bank statements together get all your bank statements where it shows all the deposits every month, where the Social Security Administration has deposited that Social Security money into your bank account. You got to prove income for 12 months, and you're good right there. Caleb, how could you make a checklist of what's needed for the medical exam and the interview, like the PDF? Por favor. I don't really have the time to write stuff and make websites and do all that, but I can make a video on a checklist for what's needed for the medical exam. I can make a video, and then you guys could watch the video and stop it and freeze it, and then write everything down, and then start it, and then stop it and freeze it, and write everything down. I mean, that's the way I could do it. Caleb, how about that? Okay, guys, I gotta drink some Mountain Dew before my throat dries up. Karina's hungry, and we're gonna be back tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Time. Jason, thanks, bud. Getting married in June in the Philippines. Thanks for your help, Jason. Congratulations. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central.